Hey, we don't own any of this shit. Squad.
This is one of the best games I've ever played and one of the greatest pieces of art in our time. I've put in around 15 hours so far, and every second has been an absolute joy. The game is freaking massive, like Jupiter massive. When I heard that the game was bigger than Skyrim, that actually deflated my hype quite a bit, because bigger isn't always better. Many open world games brag about the size, but when you actually play them, they can be quite empty and devoid of life. This is not the case here. You run into so many unique monsters, characters, and gorgeous vistas. There are cool secrets everywhere. The game rewards you for interacting with so much, it's ridiculous. The environments are so dense with content that it really puts into perspective that hundreds of people worked on this game. I feel like the development team became each other's best rivals. Whenever someone would create something awesome, another member would look at it and go, "That's cool, but let me design something better." That kind of friendly competitiveness is the only way my brain can possibly rationalize a game this well made in practically all areas. I haven't run into a single uninteresting character design or a location that was devoid of fun. And when you take into account the scope of this game, things really get mind-blowing. Not only that, but I was playing the game alongside my friend who has his own copy, and even though we ran into the same characters at points, we experienced completely different situations. The game has so many variables that even the exact same encounters can have a multitude of outcomes. Now I noticed that one nigga in my audience that's saying that the game is overrated, or that games are just for kids, and how dare I compare video games to literature, or film, or whatever. And I respect y'all to an extent, because devil's advocates help spice up life. But I'm still gonna prove you wrong to the best of my ability. This is Spaceline's first video of 2017, and we're gonna drop a golden shitload of content on y'all this year. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go! So Link and I were chilling in the desert when we came across Sasami. Sasami was tripping because he was with the homies when a squad of monsters attacked. Sasami dipped and thought his friends were right behind him, but when he turned around, they weren't there. Dude was worried sick, so I decided to drop everything and see what was up with his homies. His friends were being held hostage by moblins. Now I know those pig-faced fucks aren't the deadliest of enemies, but they were a challenge when you take in consideration the environment. Side jumps are an impossibility on the narrow platforms, leaving me vulnerable to horizontal swipes. I eventually got hit by a spear-wielding moblin, who knocked me off. What the fuck, you fucking... I was able to use my paraglider to break the momentum of the fall, but I still had to climb all the way back up, which was a real pain in the ass. The next time I got knocked off, I was ready. Because I was lucky enough to be facing the cliffside, I ran up the wall and desperately looked for a place to recover my stamina. I eventually found a small wooden support beam that helps hold up the platform I was knocked off of. I rested there, ran up the wall again, and slayed the demon who wasted my time. In a lesser game, I would have simply fell through the pole, but nope, the team took into account that someone might stand there and gave the pole its own hitbox. Now the quest already had me tickle pink from the gameplay alone, but I haven't even talked about Sasami's companions. So the first person I saved was a woman, and she was pretty ticked off that Sasami left her to fend for herself. She brought up her gender as if the act of abandoning one's friends is worse if that friend is a woman, which is a realistic sentiment, but ultimately a sexist one. The second woman I saved was enraged too, but she did not bring up her gender. She simply detests cowards and was shocked to find out that Sasami is one as well. The act in itself was what offended her, which I admired. This woman in particular was livid. Her face was so angry and adorable, my friend and I were just laughing our ass off looking at it. As for the male companions, one of them seemed to be quite fond of Sasami, not believing for 1 second that he intentionally abandoned them. Personally, I took Sasami at face value when he said he thought his friends were right behind him, so I understood that sentiment. The other male companion was simply glad his friend was safe. At the end of the quest, I talked to Sasami again. He told me that opening up to others might make you more vulnerable, but it's the only way to give your life any value. Not only is he right, but this line makes me believe that Sasami opened up about his cowardness to at least one of his friends. As you can tell from me going out of my way and taking a picture of it, this line gave me super warm fuzzies. If I was in Sasami's shoes and I ran away as he did, I would have been so ashamed. But opening up really is the only way you even start to feel better after a situation like this. I was glad the quest ended on some Dear Princess Celestia shit, because I eat up smalts. Then, this line happened. That said, caring for others is an emotional liability, so my friends and I have all decided to part ways. This made me wonder if Sasami knew he should open up, but realized it was too hard for him. Or maybe he opened up, and while his friends accepted him, they ultimately realized that the Sasami they befriended wasn't the true Sasami, which played a role in splitting them apart. Sasami's final line to me was that he wasn't sure what the whole takeaway was here, which had me dying. Fantasy stories are known for having strong moral lessons, and whoever wrote this scene was aware of that. Then, he or she knowingly subverted our expectations. I would have been satisfied had the whole moral quandary ended on this big joke, but nope, the scene doesn't even stop there. Talking to the other friends reveals their own reasons for splitting up, and what they each took away from the experience. And this is where our true moral lies. And maybe once I learn to help myself, I'll be able to help others, like you helped me. This line encapsulates the main idea behind the quest, but again, it gets even deeper. See that girl on the right? She's the woman who got particularly pissed off when she found out Sasami abandoned her. When she came back, she was ready to yell his ear off, but when Sasami made eye contact with her, he looked too pathetic for her to roast him. She said that he's a coward, and that's just the way he is, and that she shouldn't be mad at him because he was just being himself. But she appreciates Link jumping in to save her, and is looking forward to the day she can save him in return. And man, when she thanked us, she looked so fucking happy, man. So happy.
That was good.
Yep.
This is what I'm talking about when I said that the whole team is a squad of rivals. Everyone on the staff pushed themselves to the fucking limit to surpass one another. And it shows. This one quest gave me so much to think about while I was adventuring, and I'm sure it won't be the last. When you have music by the great MK, the masterful game design from Nintendo EAD, and writing as dense as something like Steven Universe, you really are a contender for one of the greatest pieces of art in our time. So that was my first Zelda video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But I don't think I've forgotten about analyzing cartoons and shows. The squad and I have been hard at work all year pre-producing scripts so we can finally get a proper video schedule going. But we decided to drop this little baby so our friends knew what was up. Definitely look forward to the final episode and the This Ain't Just for Kids War trilogy. It's a special one. Starting now, we're having a Patreon account to help us pay for this lovely studio you see behind me. We all have full-time jobs and our own individual lives. A little financial compensation will go a long way towards keeping our studio afloat and help us pump out videos faster. Of course, no episode will be complete without me promoting my upcoming novel, Nina and Minerva. It's a tale about two women from opposing factions who fall in love after an alien invasion. It's a love story that's both funny and horrifying, complete with thrilling action and fulfilling romance. I'm hard at work for getting the money needed to get this product off the ground and in your hands as soon as possible. Please be patient and look forward to its release. Feel free to like the Facebook page and read a few excerpts. Y'all know what I'll say at the end of every fucking video, so I don't know why I have to say this shit every time, but I'll say it anyway. Like, share, subscribe. Say that shit with me. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good one.